Our Kwaba SI Ediban Nimdia News Review, Nimdia News, always the best news in town. In Semi Brunana, say Koso Ebio, Ewo Ghana, Amai Muhammad Katro say for politics and governance, dear. Odi Nimdia News are nowadays. Asem. We bring you all news and Ebio Sono Yedi AC, Amai want also in Answer Brown, and Musa to Miakabi. Yentian Simbia, AC, whom baby as Susan at the bottom and so Ebefa. Ghana had politics is about NPP, NDC, and all other political parties are a trenchia waha. And now what in some say, which now what in some say, now in some be essay. I'm a per se, ye betie a 9.4 second comedian who anum. Ye betie in some no about you are near the adventure and so about. Press out the comment. Everybody said a baby to me, Unia King and so dear man before that, no so no subscribe to your channel, no. Name the news, and some all other relevant news if a politics from our Ghana. Yentin see me emergency, na press out the adventure and so ever to ya. Yentimra, Yaba de Rubia near Masaka.
You get 8, people are willing to testify. Persons, they are not coming to say hearsay. They are not coming to give hearsay evidence. People who were involved, okay? And we are, in negotiations with them and their lawyers. As a precondition, I tell them, you bring back the money that we have calculated that you took, you serve as a prosecution witness. That is the approach that we are using. Now, I'm sure the MPP will be very happy for me to insist that 100% be returned to the Attorney General before any deal can be, cut. Now, a report on the docket for the oral cases, including the mathematical sets, the All Africa Games, and the drip scandals are being prepared by the National Investigation Bureau for my attention. I expect to receive that investigative report in a few weeks for work to begin on filing charges in court. The Economic and Organized Crime Office has completed investigations in respect of Wuntumi, Chairman Wuntumi, and the former National Buffer Stock Company CEO, Mr. Abdul Wahab Hanan, and their accomplices. The results of both investigations will be announced very soon. The police CID have also completed a docket on the Akunta mining case and submitted same to my office. We have prepared charges and sent them back to the police CID for the suspects to be formally charged before their arraignment in court in the coming days. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, my fellow countrymen and women, in conclusion, I wish to remind you of the fact that when I announced the Kobina Boahen investigation, I was blunt in stating the fact that I am open to engaging in plea bargaining with those who have been investigated and found to have looted or stolen state resources. I minced no words about my intentions and will therefore not shut the door to any accused person willing to enter into negotiations with my office for purposes of reaching a plea agreement. My approach is in consonance with the central plank of the oral, which is to recover the loot, which is to recover all the loot. But of course, you use oral, all advisedly, because as I pointed out clearly, it is not in all cases that it is possible to recover all the loot. So you recover some, realistically possible. Of course, recovering the loot and jailing looters are not mutually exclusive. And I believe that that is what citizens are pushing for. In other words, both can take place, and that will be full-fledged accountability. But anyone familiar with the plea negotiations would agree that it is rare to go into the negotiation room and come out without giving up something in order to clinch a deal. Our plea bargain statute captures that succinctly, as it contemplates that the Attorney General may even go to the extent of dropping charges in exchange for restitution. Also, under the Costs Act 1993, Act 459, an accused may plead guilty to a charge or charges and pay restitution where the offense involves harm to the property of the Republic, including financial resources. In that case, the accused is to be handed a non-custodial sentence. As the Attorney General, I will not oppose the use of Section 35 of the Costs Act to achieve the purposes of oral. Now, Section 35 is mandatory. Once the accused approaches the judge, okay, and pleads guilty to the charge, the judge is mandated, the judge could reject the restitution or reject the offer of the accused person. But once the judge accepts the offer of the accused person, I have no role in it. All right? Then the accused person must be given a non-custodial sentence. In other words, the accused person will walk home. So those who are saying that you are cutting a deal and letting criminals walk must understand that, okay, even the legislative framework existing at the time that I was in law school, I was in final year in Legon when this act was enacted, okay, contemplates that in some cases, the accused can pay restitution and get a non-custodial sentence. So if any accused person offers to come under Section 35, please, ladies and gentlemen, that is what Parliament has enacted. The Parliament of the first Parliament of the Fourth Republic do not expect that I will be able to say, do not impose. If once the judge accepts it, okay, I can make my representation to the judge as to why this is not a fit and proper case for restitution and a non-custodial sentence. Okay, but that can be rejected because the statute imposes, right, the power and authority to determine the circumstances under which that will happen in the judge, not in the Attorney General. The Plea Bargain Act, on the other hand, okay, imposes the power and authority to, negotiate the deal in the Attorney General. However, the judge has a role to play. The plea agreement must be endorsed by the judge before, it is accepted. Finally, make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, about my intentions. I want to jail persons who have looted state resources, but at the same time, I am pragmatic enough to know that it is not in every instance that that is possible. In those circumstances, I will opt for non-conviction-based asset recovery. I thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Attorney General, for that comprehensive briefing. As he indicated at the beginning of his remarks, the session on Ramble in the Jungle will take place sometime next week. He did not want the magnitude of that case to compete with the need for accountability in the decision that he took in the Unibank case. So we decided that he speaks to this matter today. And then on another opportune occasion, he delves deeper into the Ramble in the Jungle. At this juncture, we will take questions from members of the media present.
Right. So, good morning. My name is Shadrach Odamiejare, Metro TV. My question has to do, or is around the bank, the cleanup. The president during the campaign promised that banks that were merged will go back to their former state. What happens to the likes of the consolidated bank? And then also on the Ablikuma North rerun.
That is not a matter that the Attorney General will speak to. It is a policy decision that will emanate from the finance ministry. Yes.
On the Ablikuma North rerun, we heard some people have been arrested. What is the newest on that? And then with persons engaged in Galamsey, arrest made, and then so far, what's happening? Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. My name is Mark Sola. I work with Joy FM and then Joy News. So filing a nolli prosequi is not an acquittal in itself. I want to find out from the AG that in the face of emerging evidence, in a case where we have an emerging evidence, compelling evidence, is he willing to reopen the Unibank case? And then the second question would also be about the deportation of some illegal miners. Some weeks ago, the Minister announced a major policy shift. He said we are not interested in prosecuting foreigners engaged in illegal mining. I want to find out how How many of them have been deported, so far?
But again, I have constantly insisted on the need to keep questions relevant to the sector. The Interior Minister was here. He made a pronouncement. He was here. You asked him, he answered. So
and
why would you then bring
No,
him
you
to
promised that the AG would answer that question. In fact,
No.
two ministers
You said-
came earlier
you said-
and you promised that
No,
the
but you
AG would
mentioned-
answer
you
that
mentioned
question.
You mentioned the
My
Interior
colleagues will attest to that.
relevance.
My colleagues will attest
Relevance.
to that. You said
Relevance.
the AG. Anyway,
The
thank
Interior
you.
The Interior Minister is the one who does deportation, not the AG. So you can't ask him about deportation.
I
You can
asked
ask
the
him
Interior
about
Minister.
prosecution.
I asked the
That's
Interior
why
Minister.
that your colleague asked about prosecution, and it was allowed because it was relevant to the AG's work. Deportation is a remit of the Interior Minister.
Yeah, but I asked him and you said the AG
No,
would
I didn't
answer.
say so.
But it's fine. It's okay.
You asked
It's okay.
about the airline, and I said that would be handled by the environment minister. Yeah.
Good morning. My question is in relation with the legal education in Ghana, if I'm allowed.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So currently there are few law faculties. So currently there are few law faculties in Ghana. That includes both public and private universities. So the public universities have more support from government, whilst the private universities do not have. And unfortunately, not everyone will be able to attend the public university. So I want to ask that what measures are in place to bridge the gap between the public and then the private universities that are running the LLB programs. And then the second question has to do with the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, as part of his manifesto promise, stated vehemently that there is the need to reset legal education. Reset here means that he expanding legal education, where law faculties will be made to train their own lawyers who will take a general legal education at the end of the studies. And quite recently, Honorable
Your
Roxanne
question is becoming rather
Nelson
lengthy. Yes, if you wrap
reiterated
up. Yes.
government position. So I want to know when the bill will be laid in Parliament. Thank you.